Is this already going out?
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Okay, so just wrapping up here at the Brock Radio AGM. I'm here with Sandor Ligetfalvy, founder of BrockBug and resident expert, I would say, on recent Brock Radio history. So I'm just going to hand it off to you for a sec to just give a bit of a recap of what happened here tonight and your thoughts on it.
Right. So this evening there were two amendments, motions put forward, which amended a portion of the bylaws that run Brock Radio. And the first of one specified that a board of directors member needs to be a resident of the Niagara region. That passed. There were a number of proxy votes in the room as well. And then there was a second motion put forward, and that was amending the bylaws to remove Busu and Busak from the board of directors structure of Brock Radio. So obviously, if you look here in the clip, there's some discussion that took place, about 15 minutes worth of discussion. And I personally felt that it was sending the wrong signal, and I made those statements to that effect. However, it passed 7 in favor, 5 against, and 5 abstentions.
Okay. All right, well, thanks for that recap. Obviously a little more exciting than what we expected from a Brock Radio AGM. Not really. Usually what happens in the summer is they elect their board members. Mm-hmm. There's sometimes a little bit of discussion about, the ongoing operations of the organization, but some pretty substantial changes to the structure now. And it'll be really interesting to see how Busak and members of Busu respond to their seats no longer existing. Pretty much. Again, just to clarify, not excluding them, they could, any of the Busak executives or Busak counselors could still run as a student at-large member, but it does definitely, I think, send a political message. So it'll be interesting to see if we get any response there.
Yes, so there's the Brock Radio is not currently receiving money from a student levy. So in a October 2013 referendum, Brock Radio, through a student-led petition, which was created by Danielle Hunter and led by the campaign led by Andrew Kemble, resulted in about 52% voting in favor of removing the fee. So as of May 2014, there's no new money coming in. So Brock Radio has about $250,000, according to the audited financial statements we saw today, $247,000 in reserve. $115,000 of that has been transferred into this year's budget, leaving the remainder for next year. There will not be new money unless there is a successful referendum this year. And so this motion that removes Busak and Busu, the 2 seats, from the board, puts Brock Radio in further disharmony from the Memorandum of Understanding that was approved unanimously by Council in 2012, which had a Busak seat and a Busu seat. Going back to the campaign of 2013 in October, the primary complaint was that board members would be required to have 8 hours worth of volunteer time before becoming eligible. It doesn't look like that's been resolved in this motion, and so I don't see this as a step towards finding common ground. Now, admittedly, Busu hasn't necessarily made steps towards finding common ground either. However, there seems to be completely intellectually honest, a lot of communication issues coming from Brock Radio. Questions that you raised: when was the candidates informed that this meeting was happening tonight? The Busu executive was not informed that this meeting was happening tonight, and those sort of questions.
Yeah, so that'll certainly make it difficult to use your words from earlier, to mend that bridge, which has already been stretched to its limits, and here tonight possibly burned permanently. So again, Sandor Ligetfalvy, founder of BrockBug.com, resident expert on current Brock Radio history.
I'll be resuming my radio show on Brock Radio. I mean, I've put forward my thing to the committee, and I'm expecting to begin in September another season of Point of View, which should be broadcasting this year on Mondays. And so that's facebook.com/POV radio to get in touch with my operation on the radio side, and then it's brockbug@gmail.com. And as well, send me anonymous ask questions at ask.fm/brockbug. We get a lot of questions that come through there, and I find that anonymously asking questions lets people really be open about the questions they want to ask. So please check out the stuff.
Just on one closing note, again, it's interesting to note that tonight, zero discussion about running for referendum or about seeking funding. Expecting that to happen at the first board meeting once they've filled all of these seats, which have now been kind of rearranged. So we'll look forward to maybe touching base with you again at that meeting and evaluating what happens there. So again, for BrockTV, Sandor Ligetfalvy, BrockBug, Adam Marshall signing off.